Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And when I first set out to do this video, I thought that it was solely going to be based on the fact that Andrew Cuomo is setting New York State up to be a mandatory vaccination state. Mandatory vaccination state. Mandatory vaccination state. All at the same time, right now telling you he doesn't trust the federal government because of Trump, and they're going to be looking at this vaccine. But then when he starts talking about it, you see those numbers behind me? He says it's going to be a double dose. You're going to have 40 million doses. He's saying all of New York must be vaccinated. Okay? The New York State Bar Association is saying the same thing. And then the cherry on top is later on, after he gets done with his vaccine tirade, okay, he says China did a better job than the United States on COVID. Straight up. Says it. Does that not alarm people? How is that not making headlines everywhere? This press conference was today, but I'm going to say it again. He literally says China did a better job than the United States. If you've seen the videos, see, this is it, man. And here's the deal. I don't like Trump doing the vaccine, but I understand why he did it, to make them all go anti-vaccine all of a sudden, to show the hypocrisy. But when he says when it's going to be safe and effective, it's not. It can't be any more safe and effective than the other vaccines they're pushing. Now, let me say this. And I know all these people are saying sugar water shots. Don't believe that hype. Okay? They said it was going to be voluntary. Okay? 5 days ago in a press conference, Scott Atlas said it would not be mandatory. Nowhere. Crickets. You can't find the video. You can't find the... Let me show you something. Okay? Guys, I'm typing in COVID task force. I'm typing in COVID task force briefing. COVID vaccine not mandatory. They are burying it. It is almost... I'm going to have to do a whole separate video just to show you that the Trump administration outright said this. This is not going to be a mandatory thing. That this is going to be a voluntary thing. Okay? I mean, I typed in Scott Atlas, not mandatory. Usually these things are very easy to find. Impossible through Google and their algorithm and YouTube, which they own. Impossible to find. But I'm going to give you my word, and you can believe me, that I made this video while I was sitting here getting ready to do an interview with Pasta Georgiula of the Convo Couch when I was watching it 6 days ago. Okay? So if you can find Scott Atlas 6 days ago, I will find it eventually. I'll pull it up on C-SPAN, right? But it's amazing. And Cuomo starts talking about being the first COVID-free state, okay? He starts talking about being the first COVID-free state, which is an impossibility. It's a virus. It's a coronavirus. To say that it's just going to be completely eradicated is nonsense. It's complete and total nonsense. But since, 99+% of people, especially here in my community, who supposedly have it, of the 800+ cases that have not been updated now in over 8 days, but they want more restrictions in my state because this guy's praising China. Okay? They're saying one hospitalization. I heard it's false. I hear there's no one in the hospital. So no hospitalizations, 14,000 people in my community, 800+ test positive, but we're still locked down. And he scoffs at herd immunity, and we'll play Rand Paul because this guy says basically he's done the best job in the world when he's literally, by the numbers, done the worst job, not in just the country, but the world. So right now, in a moment, we are going to play Cuomo talking about his vaccination plan and explain to people why New York State is going to be the mandatory state for this beta test of medical martial law, of giving a state over to billionaires, of praising China. That's the reality. And I wish I didn't have to leave, but as you guys know, I'm harmful content. It's 5.5 months demonetized over here. I'm moving. It's not cheap. I'm going to Iowa. I can't fight this Leviathan. I wish I could. I want to fight it. I want to fight it so bad, but I got to fight it from another area. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. The link's down below. Check out the documentary films. They're free in the playlist section. Okay? And again, not a fan of Operation Warp Speed. Trump has his problems, but he doesn't want the nation locked up. Did you see how many people were in Tulsa tonight for that rally? And they're going to try to sell you that Joe Biden could win this election if it were fair. But, Cuomo, the facts aren't the facts. And, he's going to go with the mail-in voting, the whole nine. I mean, when you hear him praise China, it's over the top. I mean, it's almost, why'd say stream complete? They just kicked me off? What in the world is going on here? Jeez, man. Oh, things are just not going great. Whatever. Let's do it because we do it live. Here he is. Here's Cuomo talking about the vaccine.
On the issue of the vaccine, the way the federal government has handled the vaccine, there are now serious questions about whether or not the vaccine is become politicized. There's been tremendous reporting on that, and the people of this country don't trust this federal government.
This federal government. They don't trust this administration. No, it didn't matter before Trump announced that he had his vaccine ready. The vast majority of the public wasn't taking it anyway. But he's acting like everybody wants it. And this rogue administration, how dare they? But then he's going to tell you he wants 40 million doses for 19.5 million people.
With this vaccine process, how can I say that? I didn't say it. Americans said it. 54% say they wouldn't take the vaccine yet.
Before the election, see? You see that bullshit poll? Do you see it? Before the election. See, it's all about, see, if you don't understand that this is political, this is hyper-partisan, this is gangster, all right? With Andrew Capo Cuomo laying it down for you, getting ready to spill the beans on his mass vaccination program and the fact that China did a better job than us.
Once again, in a dispute with the FDA says they want to make the approval more rigorous, more transparent. President says they're trying to politicize it. Why would FDA be politicizing the approval? Between the president and the FDA, only one entity is engaged in the political process and is headed for Election Day. It's not the FDA.
Oh, it's not?
I don't think Dr. Hahn is running for anything. Is Dr. Hahn running for any office? No.
You see this punk? You're a punk, Cuomo. No, he's not running for any office. But again, before the election, this vaccine, right? I mean, it's maddening. It's crazy to me. If you don't understand that this is all about controlling you, and why do you think I'm leaving the state? Because people buy into this. They've been so doped up and drugged up and propagandized and their brains mush that they're a shell of what a human being should be, and they are the epitome of what Aldous Huxley warned us about.
So I don't see what political interest Dr. Hahn, head of the FDA, has. President Trump is engaged in the political process and has an election day. So 54% of New Yorkers say they wouldn't take it. So the first question is the vaccine safe? Frankly, I'm not going to trust the federal government's opinion. And I wouldn't recommend to New Yorkers based on the federal government's opinion. Second question is, if it is a safe vaccine, how do you implement it?
This is key. This is him setting you up for when the election's over and somehow, we've rigged this thing against Trump. And again, I'm not trying to MAGA, but look at this stuff. He's setting you up for it. How do we implement it?
Implementation is a massive undertaking. On the first question of is it safe, New York State will have its own review when the federal government is finished with their review and says it's safe. We're going to put together our own review committee headed by the Department of Health that will advise me. We have the best hospitals and research facilities.
Remember, this is the guy that banned hydroxychloroquine. Okay? And just to show you what that means, we'll do it live. Okay? Because I don't want the video to get banned. Newsweek, we have a cure for COVID-19 and we need to start using it. Huh. It already exists. Huh. And the Yale epidemiologist. But I thought, is he running for office? Is Harvey A.
People keep talking
Hirsch?
about the possibility of a second wave to another time. And
I want to throw up every time I see the guy. But yeah, and that's the thing. They'll even put Fauci up there on the top and letting this guy have his opinion piece. He's a professor of epidemiology. So I'm sure that Cuomo's review, and the other thing about that is, and I'm going to say it again, whatever the Trump administration puts out, I don't expect it to be that safe or effective, okay? But it will be no more or less safe and effective than what the next election brings, what the next administration not only says is not, again, voluntary, but mandates.
Facilities on the globe in this state. We're going to put together a group for them to review the vaccine so I can look at the camera and can say to New Yorkers that it's safe to take. I want to make sure we know it's safe to take. If the vaccine is safe, then we have to decide, how do you actually implement it? They're talking about 2 shots necessary for a vaccine. You have 19.5 million New Yorkers. You're talking about 40 million doses being administered. You think what we went through thus far has been massive with the testing and the quarantine, et cetera. Administering a vaccine to every New Yorker?
You know what? The Trump administration never said they would do that. They never said they would do that. They didn't say this was for everybody. They said, of course, it's going to be voluntary. What's this guy telling you? Huh? He's letting you know. The rollout's already here. I am a mother trucking gangster. Is anybody else really alarmed by this? And wait till you see him praise China. I mean, my jaw was on the floor.
This is a massive undertaking, and the vaccines have to be stored at minus 80 degrees centigrade. You're going to have issues of public confidence, whether or not the vaccine is safe. We're not sure what the federal government's role is going to be. I don't think the federal government understands what its role is going to be. So it's going to be a monumental undertaking in any event. I'm appointing a committee today that is going to come up with a vaccine distribution and implementation plan on how we will do it. The vaccine plan will include prioritization of the vaccine, who gets the vaccine first, based on medical standards, not anything else. How do we distribute it? Who can administer it? How do we train those people? How do we train them now? People have to get 2 doses. They have to get 2 of the same medicine in those dosages. You then have to keep track of everybody who was vaccinated, when and what vaccine they actually received. And there's going to have to be a massive public education campaign that talks people through this and how to do it. We're also going to have to buy it, and it's going to be expensive. And who do we buy it from? And I want to make sure we don't go through that same mess that we went through on PPE procurement, where everyone is trying to buy it at the same period of time, and we wind up driving up the price. What do we want to accomplish in New York? We should have the best vaccination program in the United States of America.
He just told you mandatory. He just told you double shot. He just told you 19.5 million doses. He just told you best vaccination program in the nation leading up to the first COVID-free state. And he's going to talk about what a financial benefit that's going to be. Remember, Bill Gates is saying lockdown till the beginning of 2022. See what this is? Are you getting it yet? This is the takeover, man. And this is the capo. Andrew Capo Cuomo. No choice.
I think the way we have handled COVID has been a model for this country. I want New Yorkers to do the same thing with vaccines. We should be the model vaccination program in the country. I also think there's a tremendous advantage.
By the way, you see that? He's the model state. The highest death rate in the world. The model state. That's why they're praising China. See, it's all inverted. It's hermetic symbolism. It's revelation of the method. They sit there and lie to your face with their demonology while in part telling you the truth. They do think that China did the best job.
For any state that could be the first COVID-free state, how about the state that can say, our population is vaccinated? We are the first COVID-free state.
Our population is vaccinated. We are the first COVID-free state.
What are the advantages to that state in terms of public confidence, in terms of economic development, et cetera? I mean, you feel now the advantages that New York has for having a lower infection rate, right? People want to come here. People feel safer here.
No, they don't.
What if you were the first state to fully vaccinate your entire population?
It's right there. He just said it. First state to fully vaccinate your entire population. And by the way, here he comes kind of getting into the flu. He's already taken his flu vaccine. Watch.
So those would be the goals. But we're going to start, and we're going to start now. When it comes to the flu is a complicating situation. It's the same type of symptoms as COVID. The best we can do on flu, everyone should get vaccinated. They should do it now.
Now.
I've already been vaccinated. Everyone should do it and should do it now.
Okay. So what I want to show you is, again, the state bar has already said they want mandatory COVID vaccinations, not only for New York State, but the entire country. The governor just told you the same thing, but we're going to play the clip for dexterity, and then we will play Andrew Capo Cuomo telling you that China did a better job. How, I'm not trying to make this about me, but how am I the only guy really talking about this like this against Andrew Cuomo? I mean, where is the Tuckster? I'm not trying to reach out to Tucker Carlson, but my God, look at this stuff. Look at what I'm covering. Look at what's right in our face.
Hundreds of people rallying in Albany Saturday morning, sending messages to Governor Cuomo and the New York State Bar Association. They say they are fighting for the freedom to choose and the right to refuse a COVID-19 vaccine once they are made available.
And
many doctors believe vaccines save lives. Others feel differently.
This is back in June. I just want to say this is back in June. Okay, that this happened, these things. And I want to just skip to the actual mandate.
Forced vaccine.
Of the New York State Bar Association in this 89-page report recommended a mandatory COVID-19 vaccine for all residents unless a doctor exempts you.
And they don't even want the doctor exemption. See that? Look after the highlight. Mandatory vaccinations are supported by the authority of the state police power when the vaccinations are necessary to protect the health of the community. Constitutional challenges under the Religious Freedom Clause, under the First Amendment, and under the Substantive Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment have failed when the individual interests are not strong enough to outweigh the public benefit. These people want your Constitution, they want your body, they want your mind, and they want your soul. And that's the real deal. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but this guy right here just praised China for their COVID response, and we're going to play it right now.
I know. Government matters in this environment. It's not a normal environment where you can play your normal politics and politicians dance. It's time to lead. What government does in the age of COVID is the matter between life and death. What the New York government did is the matter between life and death for thousands of people.
Notice, again, the inversion of reality. He's telling you the truth. He's just acting like you understand that we saved lives. No, 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 no. Your decisions cost thousands of lives. Absolutely 100%. 100% they did. And that's why you're about to say what you're about to say, you effing monster.
What the U.S. government did is the matter of life and death for tens of thousands of people. 1,000 people die in the United States. 1 in China. Why? Because their government did a better job. That's why. Only 2 people died in New York State.
You hear that? Their government did a better job. Okay? You want to talk about the inversion of reality? You know, we did that Rand Paul yesterday where they acted like Fauci, owned Rand Paul. Well, here's Rand Paul talking about it either yesterday or today on Fox News after the fact. And again, for them to say that Fauci won that is incredible to me. Incredible. Fauci brought no facts and defended Andrew Cuomo. And watch what Rand Paul has to say in response.
And the hearings on the Hill today, which you were part of, this is an exchange that you had with Dr. Fauci.
How could we possibly be jumping up and down and saying, oh, Governor Cuomo did a great job? He had the worst death rate in the world.
No, you misconstrued that, Senator, and you've done that repetitively in the past.
Look at his face. No, he shows no facts. He just says, no, he didn't. All the numbers show he did.
Because they are looking at the guidelines that we have put together.
Or they've developed enough community immunity.
I challenge that.
You could challenge it, but nobody's sick in my community. And 800 plus cases, 848 confirmed cases in my community of 14,000. No, forget about dead. Nobody's sick. You challenge it all you want, you piece of human filth.
Senator, because this happens with Senator Rand all the time, that in New York, it's about 22%. If you believe 22% is herd immunity, I believe you're alone in that.
Also a lie, because you know what? They're not testing everybody. 22%. This guy, and he won't talk about group immunity from other coronaviruses either.
So you went after him on the subject of Governor Cuomo and the record in New York, which I think a lot of New Yorkers can understand. You also went after him on this question as a doctor on what percentage does connote herd immunity, and you guys went back and forth on it. Tell me about that.
Well, the facts are the facts from the Johns Hopkins website, which is esteemed, and people say these are the facts. The highest death rate in the world is in New York, 1,700 deaths per million. The U.S. average about 500. The average actually about 600 now. The average in Sweden about 570. But on the question of herd immunity, they're dismissive of this. But I'm sending over to Dr. Fauci so he can read a little bit on this.
He won't.
In Science magazine in August, 3 mathematicians came out with the idea that because an infection, transmission of infections and immunity seem to be concentrated in younger people. They seem to catch this faster and be more active and out in public more, that it actually skews the formulas on herd immunity and would allow herd immunity at a much lower rate. The other thing from the Johns Hopkins website you see is New York's having no new incidents and no new deaths. Now, he wants to say, it's because everybody's washing their hands.
Right.
I don't believe that. I think they were washing their hands in April and we still had all these deaths. So there's something going on, and I can't say with certainty, but over the next couple of months, if there is no significant surge again without a vaccine in New York, it will look like herd immunity. That's what it looks like in Sweden right now, and it looks like this around the world. When people have had a significant surge, they're not getting a second surge, and there are mathematicians who have looked at the formula on herd immunity in the August edition of Science Journal, and they actually say, you know what, herd immunity may come much lower than some of these experts think.
I think it's fast.
And there you go. There's an honest-to-God opinion from a doctor and a guy that actually, for the most part, champions the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I'm just saying. But the facts aren't the facts in New York, and Andrew Cuomo let you know that. And I mean, you heard him talk. He says China did a better job. So, guys, again, what you just watched is probably pretty harmful content. I wish somebody bigger than me was covering this stuff ad nauseum, harder core, but they're not. So if you want to support me, $5, $10, $15, big donations, it means the world to me. It's how I'm able to do this. It's how I'm able to bring you these videos several times a day. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. Make sure you are subbed, thumbs it up, ringing the bell, finding a video like this one, and then DMing it to somebody and letting them know. You can also support me over on Rockfin. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the flip side.